As we prepare for the holidays, I am curious how many of you are worried about what other people have to say? Meaning, you're going to go over to your in laws or your grandmas or your aunts, and you just know that you're going to hear things like, I would never let my kid do that. Or if you just gave him to me for a week, I'd set him straight. Or something about how they're not eating their food or forcing them to share, forcing them to hug grandma or grandpa, whatever it is, right? During the holidays, we are given so much unsolicited parenting advice. And I'm just curious, I can't be the only one who struggles with this or who's dealt with this. Matter of fact, when I asked what is the biggest struggle when it comes to parenting challenging kids during the holidays, so many of you guys said this right here is dealing with different parenting styles, not just in your own home, but also when you go outside of your home. So when you're at a family member's house, or you're around the dinner table and all your kid is eating is the roll, when everyone works so hard at the holiday food. So I'm just curious if that is you. I want you to know you are definitely not alone. I'm Dana, and I am going to be sharing today about some tips that you can take with you when you are surrounded by family members, when you've got the stares and the glares and you've got people telling you what you should and shouldn't do. So this is part 5 of our 7 days to less holiday chaos. I've seen a lot of you guys tuning in, watching the replays, um, and getting our notes today. I haven't started my notes yet because it has been just a crazy morning around here. So I'm going to do my best as we chat today. If I've got some time, I'll try to doodle down the notes and send them over for you guys. But so far in the series, we've talked about a couple of things. We've talked about bedtime and how that gets harder during the holiday season because of the change in schedules, because of the excitement, the overwhelm, the stress, keeping our kids in bed at night, all of those things. We've also talked about school with the changes in routine, the increase of anxiety, the reluctance around homework. We talked about your own parenting reactions. So when you get stressed out and overwhelmed, how do you stay calm? And we also talked about parenting strong-willed kids during the holidays. So kids who will dig their heels in, who like things a certain way, who are super particular about things, and then will have a tantrum or a meltdown if things don't go their way. So, hello, I see Lily here. So glad that you are here. And yeah, so we're here for our next one. I'm a little off today, so I hope that's okay. Normally, I'm like raring to go and I've got my doodles all set up and all of that. But can I just be like really real with you? Like, I'm not fully my brain's not fully functioning this morning. It feels a little holiday stressed out. My kids are home. They're doing great. They are doing great, but it feels like we're being pulled in a million different directions. And I have my own deadlines and things like that. So I just kind of taking a big collective breather. Can we all do that together? Ready? Okay. Lily says, yes, please. Okay. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a big collective breather today. And I want to talk about what to do when we get this unsolicited parenting advice. So, first, let me know in the comments, what is your worst advice that you've been given when you're around well-meaning, loving family members? What's the worst parenting advice? What is something that you actually really struggle with? When we were talking about parenting struggles, parenting triggers, someone said, what do I do when I'm around family members and they're telling me what I should be doing, but my kid is melting down? How do I help my kid while also dealing with, the kind of backseat drivers, if you will? And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. And the first thing that I want to talk about is just, I think one of the things that makes this so hard is that everyone wants to help each other. We're coming from a good place, right? And we want to be like, oh, have you tried this? Have you done that? Have you thought about this? When we see a child struggling or when we see a parent struggling. And if we're talking about our relatives, they want what's best for you and what's best for their kids. And they have this whole story, this whole background, this whole journey they've been on. And so the things that come out of their mouth, I need you to realize they're not about you. They're about them. They're about their journey. They're about their past. They're about their history, their own beliefs, their own thoughts, their own view of the world. And you are the parent to your kid. And you are the one that knows your kid best. You are around them 24/7. You're the one that tucks them in at night, wakes them up in the morning. You're the one that's there on their bad days and their good days. You know your kid best. Now, it can be really easy for that to be shaken. I had a doctor the other day tell us that, it's our parenting. That's why my daughter is so shy and so anxious, and that we needed to take her to a therapist to find out what was wrong with her and fix her behaviors. So I get it, right? That's someone telling me that I need to, be a better parent. And it even shakes me, even when I'm the one that has like all these tips and things to share with you. And so I want you to know you're not alone, but you do know your kid best. And you might not always know the best way to respond or the best way to help your kid, but you do know your kid best. And so I want you to stay grounded in this idea that, one, you know your kid, and two, that their comments are not about you. Okay? You got to stay grounded in that, because you can't let someone else's uncertainty about what you're doing trump your own certainty. So the first thing that I recommend is what we call a thought swap. And we talked about this the other day. We talked about the want lawyer here and Judgy McJudgerson. So when someone else is talking, I like to ground myself with that stop, breathe, anchor that we've talked about. Just stop, hand to heart. This is not about me. This is about them, right? And hear what they're saying come in one ear and out the other for the moment. It doesn't mean you're ignoring them. It doesn't mean you're disrespecting them. And I know that's really hard when it's our parents or our in-laws or an elder. It can feel like we're disrespecting them. But in the moment, your focus is you and your child. Later, you can address the other adult in the room that had their thoughts or their opinions. Okay. But right now, that's not the important part. So you can squash Judgy McJudgerson by pulling out the want warrior. And want warrior just lets all those words and language of you should spank him, or you need to put him in a timeout, or you need to give him to me. I'll teach him what's right or wrong. In one ear, want, right? That's the number one tip, right? Is first just getting grounded in your own beliefs, in your own thoughts. This is not about me. Want. Okay, so who can do that? Yes, raise your hand if you can want warrior your way out of this. Now, number two is you're going to focus on your kid, right? In the moment, you're going to focus on your kid. You're going to connect with your kid. You're going to try to understand what's going on with your kid. You're going to give them a break. And we talked about that in one of the other lives that we've already done. So I'm going to assume you've already done all that. Your kid is back playing with their cousins. They're off eating the foods that they love. They're off running outside, playing football, whatever it is. But now, how do you handle the other person? So the first thing you want to do after you've handled yourself and you've handled your kid is you want to connect with the other person. So connect with them on things that they're interested in. Ask them about them. Ask them about what they're doing and what they love and those sorts of things. So connect on just a human to human level. And then just validate. So I noticed that you had some thoughts about how I handled my son earlier. Or I hear that you're concerned about my son's behaviors. Or I see that you care about how much food my kid eats. Whatever it is, you want to validate those feelings. Let them know that you hear them, that you see them, that you're there and you're listening to them. I get that you want, my kid to hug you. I know that you just want to play with my kid. And so you thought tickling would be a good idea. Those are some ways that you can validate their feelings. I see, I notice, I hear, I get, right? Letting them know that you're there and you're listening to them as well. Right? Because we can get our like mama shield up, ready to go into battle and fight. And when we are doing that, it's going to be incredibly hard for one, for us to hear the other person, and two, for us to advocate in a way where the other person is actually going to listen to us. So the second thing that we do with this other person now, so one is you take care of yourself, keep yourself grounded. Two is you go connect, take care of your kid. Three, we're making this plan with the other person. So one is we're connecting and validating with them. Two is we're going to understand where they're coming from. Now, I've already shared, we all have the ultimate goal of helping our kids. That's really where it's coming from. Now, it might be ill-placed. It might be coming from an old belief system. It might be coming without the knowledge of how different brains work and how neurology works and all those different things. That's okay. But understanding what is the goal, what is it they're concerned about, and listen to their concerns. What are your concerns about my kid? Like, why is it a problem that my child doesn't eat what's on the table? Why is it a problem that, what are your concerns about my child not hugging grandma? What are your concerns about my child expressing emotions, right? So really think through, how can you understand where they're coming from, where you can get their background and you can hear their concerns. And this is also a great place to share your concerns. Okay. You can say, okay, so I hear that you would really like to be connected to your granddaughter, but I believe in autonomy. And so I want to teach my child that they're in control of their own body. And so there are other ways that you can connect with your granddaughter. Okay. So you can share your concerns and they can share theirs. Now, the last piece is an empowerment piece. So in this piece, this is about empowering yourself with what to say and what to do when this comes up. And you can empower your kid with what they can say and do to advocate for their own needs. So you can say something like, thank you for your input. I'll remember that next time. Or you can say something like, I hear your concern, but I'm going to continue doing this because it works best for my child. Or I know that my child needs a break, so we're going to go sit in the other room. So having that already planned ahead of time means that when your logic brain is going into fight, flight, or freeze, you already have something that you can pop out, some scripts that you can use. So empower yourself with what you're going to say. Empower yourself with what you're going to do. Empower yourself with how you're going to respond when someone tells you that you should spank your kid. Thank you for your input. No, thank you. Right. And that's okay. It is okay to let them know, thank you, but that's not how I choose to parent my child. Thank you, but I'm going to listen to my child on this one. Thank you, but my child is not going to do that today. That is okay. It's okay to stand your ground. So many of us have been taught time and time again in over-conditioning that we are supposed to always respect every elder and we are supposed to do as they say. My parents used to say, if I say jump, you say how high. And the thing is that that's just not always possible. We want to teach our kids how to have a voice, how to be able to recognize and understand their own needs and wants. I want you to be able to recognize and understand your own needs and wants and be able to share that with others without feeling like you have to hide, like you have to be quiet, like you have to, abide by other people's rules. You can still hear their concerns. You can still take what they have to say into account. So those are the things that we've talked about today. So just to recap, one is we don't want to take this personally. So we want to stay grounded for ourselves. And I don't have any notes today because I didn't have a chance to write those. But you can type calm. And what I'll do is I'll send over a link so that you get emails every single day during this series. And you can get a link to our Black Friday bundle that's coming soon that's going to give you even more tips for how to deal with different parenting styles. So tip number one is to ground yourself. And you do that by not taking other people's thoughts and ideas and sayings personally and realizing that's about them, not about you. The second thing that you want to do is you want to help your child get grounded and calm. So you're going to put your focus on your child. So you're going to move over to giving all your attention to your child in the moment. And you're going to just warrior the thoughts or the sayings from other people while you give your child the attention that they need, the connection they need, and you help them get their needs met. Once that's over, now you can go to advocating. So step one is ground yourself. Step two is to ground your child. Step three is to advocate with this other person. And in order to advocate, we're going to do all our steps again. We're going to ground ourselves. This is not about me. This is about them. They're on their own journey. We're going to connect with them. We're going to create this base level connection. We're going to validate what they're saying, what they're feeling, how they're responding. And then we're going to understand. We're going to hear their concerns. We're going to share our concerns. And then finally, we're going to empower ourselves with what we're going to say, what we're going to do. And we're going to create a plan for the next time this happens. We're going to create a plan for how we're going to carry out or, how we're going to respond and interact together with this other person in the future. So hopefully that's been helpful. At the end of this, what I'll try to do is I will fill out my blank doodles. I didn't make doodles, but what I'll do is after this is over, how about I take a few moments and I doodle it out of those steps that I just talked about. So if you type calm, you'll get a doodle that kind of looks like this. This one is the one for bedtime. And I'll send over a doodle on how to deal with different parenting styles. You just type calm in the comments below. And we'll do two things. One, I'll send over the notes. And two, you'll get a link to our wait list for our Black Friday bundle. Now, we have listened to you. We know that over the last 2 years, you guys have gone through so much. Parents have really, really dealt with a lot over the last 2 years. And so we have heard loud and clear that you've struggled with school, you've struggled with bedtime, you're struggling with different parenting styles, you're struggling with remaining calm yourself, you're struggling with how to parent a, out of the box, strong-willed child, and electronics and tantrums and meltdowns, all the things. And so we've taken what you're struggling with most and we've put together an epic bundle. Now, guys, the team's been working on this behind the scenes. And every time I walk in the office and I see this bundle that they are putting together, I am like, guys, how are we giving this to people? It is unbelievable. This is probably our best bundle we've ever put together. They have made sure that they've organized it for you so that it's not just more overwhelm and more resources. They've put together a quiz for you so that you can identify which resource is going to be the best for you so that you don't have to wade through all the resources. There's like 35 resources inside this bundle. And every single resource, you can get the entire bundle for less than the price of one resource. It is so epic. And I see some of you have already found the pre-orders. You've pre-ordered it and you're super excited, which is awesome. And guys, I mean, this bundle, I am so blown away by what the team has done, how they've organized it, how well put together it is, the resources that are in there. And it's going to help far beyond just the holidays. It's going to help in, the years to come with parenting your challenging kiddo. And so if you want to know about it, just type calm in the comments. I'll send over doodles once I have them, the notes from today's chat. And I'll send over a pre-order or a waitlist link. And there may be a way for you to pre-order it so that you, because as that we're getting closer to Black Friday, the team is getting closer to having it all ready for you. And so there are ways for you to get that so you don't have to worry about remembering on Thursday. So just type calm. We'll send over the link. We'll send over the notes. And you'll also be on our email list so that you get the email every day. Every day I've been going live at noon Central Standard Time right here on Facebook. I've been sharing about, today was a little late, but I've been sharing about how to get through the holidays with less stress, less overwhelm, and less arguments with your kids. And hopefully it's been helpful. I'd love to know your biggest takeaway. I thrive on feedback. I'd love to know if you've gotten anything out of this series. It's, the whole team's been working on it to bring it to you for completely free this week. And so we wanted to make sure that really we were serving you as much as we possibly could as you go into the holiday season and as you deal with the changes in schedule and you deal with the excitement and the overwhelm and the stress and all the things that come with the holiday season, especially after the last couple of years and what we've all been through. So guys, you are absolutely amazing, and I am loving doing this series. We've got 2 more days coming for you. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about meltdowns, tantrums, and meltdowns during the holidays, especially if you're dealing with them in public, right? So like at family, if you're at Target, if you're at, we had an epic meltdown at Nutcracker one year and there were police involved. Oh my goodness. It was such an ordeal. So if that's something that you're struggling with, you're definitely going to want to make sure you don't miss tomorrow. So just type calm in the comments. You'll get a link in your inbox with that so that you can be here tomorrow, noon Central Standard Time. You also get the notes and the doodles. And then I just want to remind you, you're amazing. Your kid is amazing. You know your kiddo, and knowing your kid, knowing yourself is such an important grounding tool for yourself. And it's okay to, yes, be the person who knows your kid best. And that is the best person, designed for this really complicated job. And it's okay to also need support and frameworks to help you simplify parenting a challenging kid. And that does not mean that something's wrong with you because you need support. It does not mean that you're doing something wrong. We can all use tweaks. We can all grow. We can all learn more about developmental milestones and about how to support kids who think differently, who respond differently, connect differently. We can all continue to learn more and more so that we can have the best relationships with our kids. And that's our goal here, is to help you create a family that works together, that advocates for each other, that empowers each other, and ultimately enjoys spending time together. So that's our goal here, is to get you through the most stressful, what we call storm, and deal with the chaos, deal with the stress of raising a challenging kid, but then get over that hump and be able to create a family that is just absolutely thriving. So with that, I just want to tell you, you guys are absolutely amazing. It is my absolute pleasure and joy to support you and to guide you and to coach you. And I will see you tomorrow on day 6 of our 7 days to less holiday chaos series right here on Facebook. Bye, guys.